Preparing to go hunting in a pyramid. Here's your look at the new Hiya Toys AVP Alien vs. Predator, the Chopper Predator Exquisite Mini. Exquisite Mini is a new standard setting series for 1/18th scale, featuring super articulation action figures under Hiya Toys. Just before checking out Chopper, why don't we compare him with the other AVP Exquisite Minis that we've looked at so far. First, bringing in, here he is next to Scar Predator. And we also just recently had a look at Celtic Predator. So you can see, again, the difference between the two. And while they're still, their main bodies underneath their armor looks to be the same, their armor is slightly varied from one to the other. Not to mention as well, Chopper gets a few extra additional blades that he can wield. Just before, though, we have a look at those blades, let's have a look at the display stand that comes included with him. Again, same stand that we've gotten with both the Scar and the Celtic. And in the same cases as before, you have one singular peg that can attach to the bottom of the figure's feet. You can flip it upside down and you'll see there's slots, two on either side. Now, these all come with these eye brackets. I know, we've already seen this already, but you take the eye brackets and you basically just take those and you can attach multiple stands together. I was like, again, you can do this because you can expand out the size of your diorama when you have them on display. Let's put that to the side, and then let's move on to the territory of his accessories. He actually has some rather interesting accessories, not just the combi stick and the smart disc. He actually doesn't even come with a combi stick, unlike the other two Predators we looked at before, but what he does come included with are kind of these interesting looking skull trophies. They're slightly varied from one to the other, but they're very, very interesting looking things. I don't think I've ever really seen things like this included with AVP Predators. I don't even think like the larger scale NECA have included these. Correct me if I'm certainly wrong. But they're very nicely detailed little staff. They're almost served really as little weapons, essentially, but little decorative trophies that you can have displayed along with them. Now, you can either put these into his hand, or you can also take the figure and flip it around. Located on the back and just underneath the dreads. A little kind of harder to move those out of the way. You'll see there's a little clip here. Now, the clip before served to hold the combi stick, but you can most definitely then take... Now that I actually think about it, I think the larger scale AVP Chopper Predator also came included with ones like this. Again, a different company. But yeah, you can plug at least one of them in. There doesn't seem to be a secondary clip anywhere where you can take the other skull. So I guess you suppose you probably could just easily have it held in his hand. You can just take the Predator and grab his hand, of course, and just slide that in there as well. And you can have it as sort of just a thing he's holding and carrying around with him. So there's an option of that available if you want. Let's go ahead and take that off. I guess actually it would have made more sense to flip this around so you could see the skull sticking out from the top of his shoulder. It's almost like this little skull's telling him to do stuff. Sorry, what? You want me to kill the humans? Well, I was actually just going to be killing the xenomorphs, but I guess shoulder skull, I could probably kill the humans also while I'm at it as well. Anyways, let's go ahead and take that skull off. He also comes included, let's just put the figure back down, he comes with the same smart disc. Nothing is different between this one and the other two smart discs that we've gotten with the other two Exquisite Minis. But again, a nicely detailed little accompanying accessory that he can wield. He can either wield it in this hand, and you just basically just slide... Just pry the fingers a little bit away from the palm. The benefit, at least, of these using softer plastic, it's a lot easier to pry the fingers away from the palm. And yeah, you can easily just hold the smart disc in his hand like that. Or you can also just detach it for the time being. Again, I keep putting the figure back down. It comes also with this type of hand. And it's the same hand that also came included with both Smart and with Scar, and Celtic. And all you do is just take the smart disc and you can fit it in his hand this way. Although I don't know why, for some reason though, it seems like this hand's a little looser, like the grip is a little wider than the times we've looked at this hand before. There I go, just dropping the smart disc onto the floor. I'm going to have to retrieve that. Go back to that in a second. And then he also comes with a gestured hand too. Now, in both the cases, these are hands that you can swap out. I always like displaying the figures with the gestured hands. I think that's a nice touch. This hand is going to be a little harder to get to though, because with the benefit of the Chopper Predator, even though it's not a helmet I really like on the design, he does have the benefit of these longer blades that are on the bottom of his gauntlets. You can sort of see, though, one of the problems of having to try to swap the hands out. It's to get your hand in there and actually be able to pop that out and then go back and replace it with the new hand. So I'm probably just going to leave it as is, because that's going to be just a real arduous task of trying to get that hand actually in there. But yes, he does certainly benefit from having these longer blades. Even when we looked at the other predators before, they usually just had the regular gauntlet blades, and that's still something that Chopper has as well to his disposal, but he certainly has these longer blades working in his favor as well. Really like the look of these. And just in case you are curious, no, you can't detach them. They're part of his gauntlets. Now, getting a closer look at the helmet. Honestly, though, of the 3 AVP helmet designs, Chopper is my least favorite. It sort of looks as like overlapping layers of, well, the metal, of course, that he's using to forge the helmet out of. It has a very interesting look to it. And again, if you compare it to the other predators, here's my personal favorite, Celtic. And here he is next to Scar. Of the 3, though, Chopper definitely is my least favorite. His armor is slightly different as well. Now, Scar had the strip that ran from the top of his armor all the way down the skirting and carried its way all the way through. So he basically had that as an additional armor piece. This one is a little more closer in proximity to Celtic, but even then, like there are some differences there. Like we look at the side, like the arms seem very similar to one another, so it does benefit at least the Chopper of having the additional gauntlet blades. Because if not for that, he looks like he has very similar looking arms. Similar as well looking legs. And also one thing as well that kind of carry over from all the 3 predators we've also looked at, speaking also of his accessories, he has the little pronged blade. It's a little harder to get it out of there. It's right there. And it's pronged because there's a little split up the middle. And that just gets housed into the side. It's actually interesting because it's not in the plastic tray when you take all the other accessories out. It sort of is like a little surprise as you're going through the figure, like, oh, wait a minute, can this remove? And it can remove. We've removed it on the other 3 as well. The paint on this guy is fantastic. Consistently happy with all the AVP figures we've looked at so far. Even though, yes, it's not my favorite of the Predator designs from AVP. I feel like if you're going to be getting Scar and Celtic, you're more likely as well to be picking up Chopper. He does have the little necklace there as well. Slightly different than the one that we looked at for, well, like Scar, for example. Scar's was more of a bandolier that ran down the side, kind of angled down the side of his torso. Whereas again, like this one is much more closer, I feel like, to being like Celtic's. In fact, it's almost identical. So again, like these share closer similarities when you look at the molds. Not really does much change. It's more so the additional blades that he has on his gauntlets, and it's certainly the different design when it comes to his helmet. For the figure's articulation, though, it would be the same as all the other ones we looked at before. And one of the benefits also being that he's similar to Celtic, he doesn't have the plasma-mounted cannon. So while he does have the shoulder-mounted back of the plasma caster, he doesn't actually have a little cannon on the top. So it does benefit when it comes to rotating the figure's head. You can rotate it back and forth quite freely, actually. You can move it up, you can move it down, and you can also rock it back and forth as well. Getting, again, a closer look at the face. You like the design of Chopper? If you do, let me know down below in the comments section. Longer dreads as well on all of these AVP designed Predator figures. Softer plastic as well. Now, when it comes to the arms hinge out. The shoulders, as I've mentioned with the other reviews, is a slightly softer plastic. And it's actually attached to this part of his torso rather than this part of his arm. So when it comes to moving his arms, the shoulder piece actually stays out of the way of things, which is good. You can move the arms forward and back as well. He swivels at the bicep. He has a single hinge on the elbow. And you can rotate the hands back and forth. Upper torso is on a ball joint. Lower torso is also on a ball joint. I love the range that you're actually able to get from this. This is, again, one of the things that benefits both Celtic and Chopper, is that they don't have that connecting piece, which, again, was on Scar's, made things a little more difficult when it came to moving those around. Here, though, quite freely, easily, rotate that upper torso. And again, look at the paint work on that. Fantastic paint. More that darker kind of gold yellow, and it transitions to a nice lighter yellow in the middle. Again, I'm very, very happy with the paint that have come with these AVP Predator figures. Like really, really top-notch paint. Even like the silver on the metal. Even though it's plastic. Sure, yeah, it's plastic. It does have a really nice metallic look to it. I get sometimes so lost looking at these, I have to remind myself that I'm actually still reviewing them. Legs move forward, the legs move back. You can split the legs out, and because, again, the skirting is a softer plastic, it doesn't limit at all when it comes to moving the legs. You can get almost, well, that's to about the extent of the splits that you can get on these figures. He has a double hinge on the knee. The legs, notably, though, are a little on the looser side. I think Chopper is, of the three Predators I've looked at so far, seems to be the loosest of the legs, at least in the knee department. Not super loose where the figure's going to be wobbling and falling over, but you do feel it. You notice it when you start rotating or hinging the knee, especially this joint right here. This one's not as bad. This joint's a little looser on mine. And then, of course, he does have foot articulation. It moves up and down. Rotate it, hinge it back and forth, I should say, as well. And again, he does have the peg holes on the undersides of his feet, like all the other AVP Predators we've looked at already. Speaking of other AVP Predators we've looked at already, let's get his legs straight up here. Get him to stand accordingly. And again, we'll bring in the other Predators we've looked at already. If, by the way, you've missed your chance to watch the reviews of those, feel free to go back and watch them later. Again, my favorite of the ones we've looked at so far is this guy. Celtic, then Scar, then Chopper. And if you are keeping a tally of things, we've only really looked at AVP figures, 3 of them so far. So unfortunately, yes, Chopper is my least favorite of the Predator figures. But I think, again, if you're going to be getting one, which is this one is the one I would recommend more than the other 2. But I think if you're going to be getting this one, you're going to be getting this one, then yes, you're going to be wanting to at least complete the trio and pick up Chopper as well. No, not my favorite of the 3 AVP Exquisite minis that we've looked at so far. Chopper had a really interesting design to his helmet that I always thought looked like a seashell. Seashell Predator. Chopper Predator, admittedly, sounds a little more intimidating. I tell you, though, at least to his credit, one thing that this Exquisite mini has that the other two don't, long gauntlet blades. So he's going to fare a little bit better, although, yeah, he doesn't fare very well at all in the movie. He also does benefit from having the additional skull accessories. The other 2 Predators don't have that. No. Seashell Predator's got better accessories. He does have better accessories, and he kind of has the same body, really, as Celtic. If you were to look at them, the ones that have the more closer similarities when it comes to their molds are Celtic and Chopper, with Scar being the exception to the rule. He does have a little more of an elaborate armor, which actually does limit more his articulation. So again, that's one thing that Chopper has that Scar doesn't. Better articulation. What is your favorite of the AVP helmets? You already know mine. Mine is Celtic. But do you guys like Chopper Predator? Do you like him with that seashell helmet? I shouldn't keep calling him seashell helmet. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments section. And again, a big thank you to the folks over at Hiya Toys that provided the sample of the Exquisite Mini Chopper Predator from AVP, Alien vs. Predator. If you guys enjoyed this video, why don't you hit it with a like? And if you're new to this channel, why don't you hit that subscribe button down below, turn the bell notification on, make sure, yes, you're coming back to this channel because we are going to be looking at more Hiya Toys AVP Exquisite Minis in the not-so-distant future. And as always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.